Good afternoon and good evening. This is Ankush here from Alif Consulting. Welcome back in our partner enablement video series. In today's video, we will be going to talk about how to design, build and operate Azure Sentinel with DevOps. Well, here is the agenda of our video. So we will be going to talk about what is the Sentinel, why Azure Sentinel, how to deploy, and then I will be going to walk you through with the reference architecture. And at the end of the video, I will be going to show you a little demo of how the Sentinel look like and what kind of configurations or the role you can create inside the Azure Sentinel. Well, let's quickly jump to the introduction. So Microsoft Sentinel is scalable cloud native security information and manage event management known as a SIEM and security orchestrations, automation and response solution. Sentinel delivers intelligent security analytics and threat intelligence across the enterprise, providing a single solution for attack detection, threat visibility and proactive hunting and threat response. So Azure Sentinel is completely a SIEM and SOAR tool which allow you to do all the security intelligence. It's allow you to do a real-time hunting. It's allow you to threat visibilities. It allow you to give you the single solution for attack detection of your all the services, and with the same you have a multiple services or multiple third-party solutions which you can integrate also. Microsoft Sentinel is your eye view across the enterprise, and it basically provide you and give you the overview and the information about in case of there is any attack, volume of alerts, long resolution time frame, right? And with the Azure Microsoft Sentinel, it can be collect data at across all the users devices, application infrastructure, both on-premise and multiple clouds, detect previously undetected threats and minimize the false positivity using the Microsoft Analytics and unparalleled threat intelligence, investigate the threats and artificial intelligence, and hunt for the suspicious activity at scale, and tapping into years of cyber security work at Microsoft. So Azure Sentinel or Microsoft Sentinel basically use a AI, artificial intelligence, to do the investigated threats and hunt the suspicious activity and analyze the logs behavior and analyze the alerts which has been coming inside the Microsoft Sentinel. Response to the incident rapidly with built-in orchestration and automation common task. So in case of is there any attack happen or is there any alert which is a security concern, it will automatically going to respond with built-in orchestration and automation of common tasks. Why Sentinel Lite? Customer can easily discover the packages, content, and integration that deliver the value of product, domain, or a vertical within the Sentinel. Customer can easily deploy content in a single step and optionally enable the content to get start immediately. The providers or partner can deliver the combined product, domain, or vertical value using the solution in Azure Sentinel and also prioritize investment. So these are the reason why to use Sentinels. How to deploy, right? So Azure Sentinel use a role-based access authorization model that enable administrators to set up a granular level of permission based on the different required and the permissions. Azure Sentinel have a three built-in roles: reader, responder, and contributor, and all of them have their own set of permission. With the reader, user will be able to get read all the information, will be able to view the incident and data, but cannot make any changes. Responder will be able to respond to the any of the alerts or incident which has been triggered. Contributor would be able to view the incident data and perform the action on the incident and create or delete the analytics rules as well, right? To deploy the Azure Sentinel, one need a contributor permission to the subscription in which Sentinel workspace is site. It use the Azure Analytics workspace to store the all the logs and to process the logs. To provide the access to different team based on their work, with Azure Sentinel, leverage the RBAC module to assign the granular level access to the various group. Again, to have or to deploy the Sentinel, the user need to have a contributor access. But if you want to give a more granular level access to the other user, you have a reader or you have a responder permission which you can give user to manage the Azure Sentinel. Well, this is how your reference architecture look like. So you can see your uh, Azure Sentinel, basically, which is a Microsoft Sentinel, can be integrated with across all the multiple services. It can be integrated with the Azure DevOps. It can be integrated with Azure Active Directory. It can be integrated with managed identities, stuff like that. So all of these services can be integrated, and especially even if you want to have Azure DevOps integrated with Sentinel to process the application, or want to integrate this that application with the Azure Sentinel, that's something you can do also by integrating the Azure Sentinel workspace with the Azure DevOps. Well, component Azure Active Directory is a multi-tenant cloud-based service to manage your identity and access control. Azure DevOps is a control Azure DevOps is a cloud service to collaborate on code, build and deploy apps, or plan and track your works. Key Vault is basically the cloud services used to secure the certificate, APIs, and the passwords. Azure Policy is service to create, assign, and manage the policy definition in Azure environment. Azure Sentinel is the scalable cloud native SIEM and cloud and security orchestrations, automation and response solution. Azure Automation is service for simplifying the cloud management through process automation. Use the Azure Automation to automate long running, manual or error prone and frequently repeated tasks. Automation help improve the reliability, efficiency, and the time to value for a company. Well, let's talk about some of the considerations. So enable the Microsoft Sentinel connector, right? What are the privileges required is there? You need to have a security administrator, owner, Sentinel contributor or reader. You need to have a JIT assigned, and you need to have a permission scope on tenant level, and you need to have a trustee as a SPN, right? And so these are the consideration. Like to enable the Sentinel, you need to have reader access. To deploy the Sentinel artifacts such as a workspace, analytics, rules, thread hunting, notebooks and playbooks, you need to have a Sentinel contributor and the Logic App contributor access, and this is going to be a permanent. And to assign a policy to configure the log streaming feature to a Microsoft Sentinel, you need to have a resource policy contributor access on the workspace, right? So these are some of the consideration which you need to take care while enabling the Azure Sentinel. Privileged access model, so that's something has been used in the Azure by giving the granular access. So privileged access, privileged identities have access to the business critical assets, which nearly always cause a major impact when the attacker compromise these accounts. Security of privileged access is critical important because it's foundational to the all security insurance, and attackers in the control of your privileged account can understand or undermine all other security assurance. So that's something is it need to be taken care and need to be understand whenever you're giving the RBAC. So privileged access model is something you need to see on which level, on what level you are giving the access to the uh, to the to the user, and that something can be have enabled into the Azure tenant by clicking yes on access management for Azure resources. That will be allow you to give the granular level access, or will be able to give the levels of access to the resources. Either it can be on management group, either it can be on tenants, either it can be on Azure resource group, or it's on a Sentinel workspace. Orchestration and automation of release process. So you can set up the deployment process with Azure DevOps and GitHub. Azure DevOps support using a YAML pipeline or release pipeline, right? And we have actually two methods, right? Either we can use the Azure DevOps to do the deployments, either we can use the GitHub to do the deployment. So with the Azure DevOps, we can have a YAML pipeline created to automatically trigger as soon as PR approval or run on demand. And for the GitHub, We can use a GitHub to create the PRs and deployment activities, and manage the service principal credentials too by using the Azure GitHub secret. So that's something you can do. So you have a two ways of doing it. Either you can do it with Azure DevOps, or that either you can do it with the GitHub. Cost, yep, there is the cost is going to be, and again the cost is depend on a multiple factors. First, the volume of data that your company feeds into the Microsoft Sentinel log analytic workspace, the commitment tier or the billing model that you choose, likely pay as you go, the retention of data policies at a level of or a global level. So what kind of the data is going to be feed into the Azure Sentinel, what are the pricing tier is going to be, and what are the retention rate is going to be for the data policy, that is going to be a cost factor. A part of that, there is another following cost factor is going to be there, play books, runtime for Azure logic apps or Azure functions, exporting to the external storage like Azure Data Explorer, Event Hubs, and the Azure Storage account, a machine learning workspace, and the compute that a Jupyter Notebook components use. So these are the cost considerations or the cost factor which is going to be there for Azure Sentinel integration with DevOps. Well, let's move to the demo. So in the demo, I would be going to show you how you can use the Azure Sentinel. So this is the Azure Sentinel which I have created and is also already integrated with my one of the workspace. You can see it's giving me all of the alerts and all of the events which has been triggered. So you can see what kind of alert is there. Either it's the Azure diagnostic, or either it's the operation, or either it's the uses. If there is any alert, it will be going to give you here on the alerts, under the alerts. A part of that, in the thread management, you can see if there is any incident has been there, uh, and then you can basically have your thread. So in case of if there is any incident has been generated, that will be going to show here, and then you can have your workbook created to see the more informations, or what kind of workbook you want to create. There is a predefined templates are there which you can use to basically create the your own workbook, and these are the predefined which you can use, and you can view the template, and you can use this template to create your own workspace. So there is the predefined multiple templates are there which you can use, like Azure Firewall, DDoS protection workbooks, Defenders, Azure Firewall, Azure Audit Logs, Azure Activities, and then you can have your hunting, proactive hunting with Azure Sentinel. It will be going to show you, you can have your huntings for your Azure resources here. Right, as of now, I don't have any alerts or any queries to be running here, but you would be able to do real-time hunting or the proactive hunting for your datas. And then under the data connector, you can so these are the pre-huntings which you can uh, these are the pre-huntings or queries which has been there. You can run all of them queries to to see real-time hunting and see what has been happening here, and then it will be, and accordingly you can respond to that. And then by having on the data connector, you can basically integrate it with the all the providers. So all the provider like AWS, GCP, Microsoft Office 365, Amazon, S3 buckets, all of them can be integrated here. So there are a lot of around 123 connectors are there which you can integrate it with all the major providers in the market. And then you do have a thread analytics based on the AI which you can have into your Microsoft Sentinel, and that's something is going to be used by having all the logs basically which is coming inside the log analytics workspace. Well, that's it in the demo. I hope you like this video. If you like, please click on like and subscribe for more upcoming videos, and feel free to reach us if you have any questions. Thank you.